birthright citizenship. We had a very unfortunate decision in the Supreme Court concerning birthright. It was close, but a very, very unfortunate decision. So we're making adjustments because it's very unfair. This was done for a different reason. This was done right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of slaves. And what's happening now, people are building businesses around it. From wealthy people are building businesses around birthright citizenship. That's not the way it's supposed to work. It's a disgrace. They're buying their way in. And we're not going to let it happen. So, Steve, if you will, please.
Yes.
Brothers, esto que estamos viendo es ahora sí que noticia de última hora. El pan está salidito del horno. Lo acaba de hacer Trump. 2 órdenes ejecutivas. Una que termina con la nacionalidad por nacimiento en Estados Unidos. Y la otra que termina con la nacionalidad por turismo. Son 2 problemas muy grandes que tiene Estados Unidos. Así como el no tener ID para votar, que somos el único país en el planeta que no tiene ID para votar. Aquí somos también el único país en el planeta que le da ciudadanía a todos los que nacen en Estados Unidos, aunque sean turistas. Y la verdad, si te pones a pensar en esto, está de la patada porque nos estamos llenando de gente que odia a Estados Unidos y que nacieron aquí. ¿Y cómo? Y luego te los ponen a investigar y son gente de Irán, de Irak, de diferentes partes del mundo, de China, que vienen aquí nada más a parir a sus hijos para que tengan los papeles. Los van y los crían de forma pues como los crían en sus países, llegan después aquí y se sienten, son ciudadanos y quieren destruir la forma de vida de Estados Unidos. Y no es justo, brothers, no se vale. Eso sí que no se vale. Y Trump lo quiere terminar por la Suprema Corte de Justicia, dijo que estaba ilegal lo que quería hacer Trump. Entonces Trump dijo que pues voy a firmar una orden ejecutiva y lo acaba de hacer, como quien dice, no quita el dedo del renglón. Vamos a ver qué pasa.
Today, the president signed these 2 executive orders here relating to birthright citizenship and birth tourism. As the president mentioned, the 14th Amendment was passed exclusively in the aftermath of the Civil War so that to ensure that the children of slaves would be citizens. It had no other meaning and purpose outside of that. And that's been clear, obviously, since the day that it was passed. You can go back and you can read the congressional debates. This is not something that's even seriously contested by anybody. The president is using his authority as commander-in-chief to sign first an executive order using the new ruling the Supreme Court issued to expand the definitions of people who are ineligible for birthright citizenship. That includes, for example, alien enemies of the United States, members of foreign terrorist organizations, and large categories of people who lobby and act on behalf of foreign governments. And so with taking this action, it ensures that large numbers of people who wrongly would be getting birthright citizenship will no longer be eligible for those benefits. The second action that he's taking, which is especially historic, is for the first time ever in American history to ban birth tourism. So I want you to really let that sink in. This has been something that people have talked about not only for years, but for decades. The idea that people come here pretending to be a tourist, pretending to be a visitor, saying they want to go to Disneyland, or they want to go visit a monument or go to a national park. But the real reason they're here is to have a child, to make that child an automatic citizen, leave our country, and then have a U.S. citizen child. It gives them access under this broken system to welfare benefits, ultimately to the voting booth, and all the other rights and privileges that belong solely to Americans. So that practice of birth tourism is, as of the signing of this order, hereby banned. And what that means is that no one in the world is any more allowed to obtain a visa for this fraudulent purpose. It is probably, and President Trump has done many historic things on immigration, too many to list now, sealed the southern border shut, record deportations, record integrity, stopping foreign terrorist entry, record reduction in drug seizures, dismantling criminal cartels, dismantling the gangs, right? Everything he's done that has been so unprecedented. I would put this in the top 3 in terms of importance because it ends what has been one of the gravest and most egregious abuses of the American system, and it keeps American citizenship sacred.
Ahora, esto que está diciendo el peloncito, que es un asistente de Trump, de la mano derecha, que van a evitar que los turistas quieran venir, o sea, se me hace que no les van a dar visa, se me hace, o sea, ¿cómo van a detectar que una mujer está embarazada? a menos que le hagan el examen de embarazo cuando está pidiendo la visa en el consulado de su país, no hay forma de que se den cuenta de que está embarazada. Y si Estados Unidos quiere gastar en exámenes de embarazo, 1 o 2, porque ya saben que fallan los exámenes de embarazo, y 2 para tener más certeza, pues va a ser una gastadera de dinero que a lo mejor Trump quiere emplear. O sea, no sé, pues estoy poniendo como opciones o cómo le van a hacer para darse cuenta, porque pues de otra forma, pues ni modo que viéndole los ojos vas a darte cuenta, o les vas a preguntar, ¿estás embarazada? Pues obviamente va a decir que no, que es lo mismo que han venido haciendo por décadas. No sé cómo lo van a enforzar, pero veremos.
Thank you. Okay.
Mr. President.
It's big stuff. That's a big deal.
No, se llama Steven Miller, ya me acordé del peloncito.
Thank you. On the birth tourism executive order, what are the plans for enforcement in terms of cracking down on birth tourism hotels this common in parts
So
of
we're
town?
cracking down very big crackdowns, and this will give us the right to do it in a much more forceful manner. But they've taken birthright citizenship and they've made a joke out of it. And we're actually the only country of size, I think just about the only country, period, different way.
Mr. President, at the Supreme Court, John Sauer, the Solicitor General, did not have an answer as to how many individuals take advantage of birth tourism. Is there a number that you
I'll
can
tell you
cite?
right now, hundreds of thousands, okay? Hundreds of thousands. You have, one man came in with a family, said he had 56 children. Another one came in, they said they had 98 children. This was not what it was for. This was meant for the babies of slaves. It was right after 1 week or 2 weeks after the Civil War ended. This wasn't for wealthy multi-millionaires, billionaires coming in and bringing 15, 20, 30 children along with them. It's become a big business, and we're ending that business, please.
What makes you confident, Mr. President, that this will pass constitutional muster?
I think it will. I think, in fact, I asked a very talented person named Will Scharf, who's standing right behind me. Do you want to discuss that, Will? You felt pretty strongly about it.
The law is absolutely clear. What we're talking about, as Stephen said, with respect to birth tourism, something that used to happen incidentally, where somebody who happened to be on vacation here went into labor early and had a baby. This was sort of a relatively small problem. What we've seen in recent years, though, is organized rings, at times criminal rings, setting up a system whereby tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people can come to this country in an organized fashion and give birth here purely for the sake of obtaining birthright citizenship. This order takes a number of different actions intended to combat those sorts of organized practices. We look very heavily at denying visas to people that we have reason to believe are coming here for that purpose. Visas both for putative parents, but also for the people organizing these rings. There's also obviously a law enforcement component. We'll have a full fact sheet released on this soon, but what we're doing is taking legally validated means that are clearly within our disposal and targeting them square on to this birth tourism industry. There's absolutely nothing in here that runs afoul of any of the Supreme Court's opinions on the subject. This is, frankly, it's action that's overdue, and I'm thankful that President Trump is finally taking decisive action to combat this issue of birth tourism now that it's been queued up in the way that it has as a result of the Supreme Court's opinion.
This should have been done a long time ago. This should have happened years ago, but we're taking care of it now, please.
Thank you. Can you help us understand how you distinguish between a tourist and a birth tourist?
Well, I'll let you discuss it, please.
Yes, happy to. And so, by the way, that's an excellent presentation.
Thank you,
Will.
Stephen.
For those of you who want to do your research on this, Section 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act gives the president this authority. 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Very rarely used, probably one of the strongest laws in the entire federal code, gives him this power. And that's not the only, but it's the main statutory authority that's being used in this order. So birth tourism is by definition a fraud on the American system, on the American taxpayer, on the American visa. If you're coming here, and again, your stated purpose is that you're a tourist, then by definition, you are here to come for a few weeks, look at what we have, engage in commerce, and leave. So if you're telling a consular officer you're here as a tourist, but your true purpose and intent is to go to a baby mill, give birth, and try to mint an American citizen while you're here, then you're committing a fraud against the American government. And by definition, that visa can and should and will be now denied.
Brothers, ojalá de verdad se pueda enforzar esto, porque eso de que vienen aquí al país y se traen a no sé cuánta gente y están... Hay negocios en China que le cobran como $50,000 a la gente, a la mujer embarazada que venga, las hospedan en casas, las hacen parir y luego las regresan ya con el pasaporte y el acta de nacimiento del niño. Y se hacen millonarios ellos, joden al país, o sea, está de la patada. Ojalá realmente esto se pueda hacer. Díganme ustedes qué piensan, los leo en los comentarios. Y bueno, pues suscríbanse por favor, compartan para que esto se entienda y se oiga y se expanda el mensaje. Y no se les olvide que los amo. ¡Mua!